My name is Greg. I'm the co-choreographer of this piece. I kind of produced it with the wonderful help of the May.
My name is Jacob Lyons. I'm also known as Kujo. I am the other co-choreographer of the piece and the principal performer.
And I'm Helen Samard, and I came onto this project as an outside eye to help Greg and Jacob bring the work into the state it is and onto the stage next week.
It's a bit autobiographical, it's a bit philosophical. It has a lot to do with personal reflections on the state of hip-hop, the state of the world, trying to fit into a world that is difficult for someone like me to fit into.
It was really interesting working on this and developing the text because we were working a lot from Jacob's personal stories and from his philosophies and his views on life, but then trying to open that up and make it something that was possible for other people to come into as well. So finding the universal maybe messages in some of his experiences and trying to find places where other people could connect to those stories and to see how they relate to their own personal stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great way to put what me and you were doing on this piece, which is essentially about Jacob.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think, for a spectator coming who maybe doesn't see a lot of dance, they might be surprised at how much text there is, and maybe for someone who's used to seeing theater, they'll be surprised at how much movement there is. I think it's really a piece that's super interesting and very contemporary in that way because it's possible to look at it as theater, as dance, as performance, and find, based on your experience as a spectator, a way to read and understand the work. And there's a really beautiful marriage, I think, between the movement and the text, so that everything becomes part of the same material, which is bringing the story forward.
And I think many people will be quite surprised at the sheer amount of self-flagellation.
I think also for people who only think of hip-hop and breakdance as something that's either super tacky and flashy or super aggressive and super negative, I think that they'll be surprised to see that this is a very different take on breaking from what they're used to. I think it's something very personal. There's actually no music in this piece, which is full of breakdance movement. It's something very different where it relies on text, which relies on the story of one person and what they've gone through, what they feel, and their ideas. I think it's a very refreshing look on hip-hop and breaking.
And what's neat about it too is the way that the story develops in a way that you don't have to understand it from beginning to end, and you understand that it's a journey that's still unfolding, that the story maybe hasn't come to its finish yet, and maybe there'll be another chapter. There's a lot of room to imagine what might come next for this character who's playing a version of himself, right?
Effectively.